Welcome back, it's Javier.
And Adela.
And today we're going to be reviewing 3 of the 4 movies that were in last month's horror pack. And that would have been for the month of July.
Yep.
So the 3 we'll be reviewing today are going to be
The Hallow,
the HorrorPack exclusive Livescream, and The Mind's Eye. Now we would have reviewed all of them, but since we did end up getting one that was kind of, we don't consider a horror movie, we're actually going to be doing a separate video for that one, and that one would have been, that one is Dead Again in Tombstone. So that one's more of a western than it is a horror.
Yeah, we'll probably just do a double review for the first and second one.
Yeah.
Since we got the first one a couple horror packs ago. So.
Well, yeah, let's get into this. I think we'll go ahead and start with the one we enjoyed the least. And that one would be The Mind's Eye. Now, this movie is pretty much about people who have psychokinetic powers.
Mm-hmm. So they can, like, obviously manipulate stuff with their minds. Basically, it's like this crazy doctor who's taking in people with psychokinetic powers and saying that he can help them, like, harness their abilities, but he's actually just a psychopath. Obviously, we don't want to give too much away, but yeah.
That's pretty much the premise of the movie. Now, this movie, we gotta say, for the most part, the acting in this movie is kind of bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's like something that we could produce ourselves.
Like, yeah, no offense to whoever did this movie.
It just could be a much, much better.
Like, the premise of the movie was... It's definitely something that you could definitely work with. It's just it wasn't executed the best. Like, the acting in it, again, was really bad. Mm-hmm. And the pacing of the movie, it just kind of felt like everything kind of went by too fast.
Yeah. It was like there and then done and over with.
Yeah, I mean...
It was weird.
I kind of felt like this should have been one of those movies that was kind of slow burn leading up to something big. But it just, it didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a lot of, like, gore in it, though. Like, that's one thing, is that it's very, very gory and graphic.
But yeah, so for you gore fans out there...
It's good for that. But story-wise, acting-wise, really, I don't know. It's lacking for sure.
I mean, it could have been a good movie. It honestly could have, and... I'm not gonna say this is one of the worst movies I've seen from HorrorPack. It's just not one of our favorites.
Yeah.
I think I would have to give this one probably a 4 out of 10.
I'm gonna say a 2. I really didn't like it. Yeah. And then next we have The Hallow. This one was pretty good. We both really enjoyed this one. It's basically about this couple. They move to Ireland, is it?
Let's see. Yep, Ireland.
Yeah, they moved to somewhere in Ireland because the husband is like a surveyor for like forest land and stuff. So they move there to survey this forest, and the locals are like picking on them and then basically telling them that the forest is hallowed ground and not to like mess with it, basically, but he does anyway because it's his job, and just unleashes a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, without even meaning to.
Yeah. It's really good.
Oh yeah, this one we definitely recommend. The visual effects for this being a horror movie are actually really, really good, and does have some really good gory scenes in it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the best parts of this movie is the makeup design. Like, the makeup artist, whoever was the makeup artist in this movie,
did a really good job.
Oh yeah. The story is really good, so yeah, this one definitely recommend. Good watch. It wasn't necessarily like scary, but
Yeah.
it was kind of like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Like,
It was like suspenseful and like action packed, but not really like scary. And it lacks a little bit, only because the description on the back, gives you a certain impression about what's going to happen, and then what happens is kind of not what the description says. So it's kind of lacking a little bit there. Obviously, we don't want to give spoilers, so I can't really say what I mean by that. But it's the description definitely makes you expect something that doesn't actually happen. So it's still really good though.
Oh yeah, not a bad movie in any way at all. Just kind of just a little tiny letdown on it. That's it. But like I said, you really gotta. The makeup design is probably the best on here. Like this is a really good movie. With this one, I'd probably give this one probably a 7 out of 10. Like this honestly was enjoyable.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 as well. And the artwork too was like really good. Like just look at that. Like that's so cool. I like it a lot. Yeah. So anyway, and then last but not least, which is our favorite, probably that we've ever gotten in a horror pack.
Oh yeah, we were surprised with this one. This one is the HorrorPack exclusive Livescream.
It's so good.
This one was probably the one we were looking forward to the most watching because we are gamers ourselves, so we were really looking forward to this movie, hoping this movie wasn't going to be bad, and honestly watching this movie did not disappoint.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Like, obviously, of course, it's an indie film, so obviously there's things that it's lacking, like any indie film, but they did amazing for what they had. And honestly, like, it's such a good story. I really enjoyed it. And like he said, we are both huge gamers. So a horror movie that's all based around video games is awesome.
Oh yeah, the premise of this movie is pretty simple. It's like this guy, he's like a live streamer. He streams games live for an audience. So he checks out the more obscure games that nobody really bothers to check out, so he ends up on the one called Livescream.
Yeah, well, he does this thing called like Scary Saturday, where he plays a horror game every Saturday, and he asked his viewers to send him like horror game ideas, and someone sends him a disc, like an actual physical game disc, that's just called Livescream. And he doesn't know what it is, he doesn't know who sent it, so he decides to give it a try. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about this movie without giving anything away, but for those of you who have seen like movies like Unfriended, this is kind of done in that similar style.
And Unfriended is also a really good movie, so...
Oh yeah, and...
It's really good. It's really, really, really good. The acting was really good. Like, there's literally one dude in the movie, like, the whole time, and he does a really good job.
You gotta give him props for being the one on screen the whole time. Like,
yeah, like, it's just him.
He did really good. Like, watching this movie, we legitly, while we are gamers, we don't actually watch, like, really any Twitch streams or anything like that. But watching this movie, like, had us feeling like we were actually part of, like, a live stream. We were, like, invested in it, like...
Yeah, it feels like a very interactive experience. It's pretty cool.
Like, it's a really fun movie to watch. I think one thing I do gotta admire about this movie, besides the fact that it's indie, is at the end of the movie there is like a little message at the end saying this movie was made using the funds of like anybody who was involved with this movie. They used their personal funds to make this movie,
and they filmed it in like 5 days in someone's living room.
So yeah, like
that's amazing. Like, a movie that's filmed like that and turns out this good, like, that's impressive. It's so good.
Yeah, this one I'd give like probably an 8 or 9 out of 10. Like, it wasn't a perfect movie, but this is probably...
It's probably the best, like, indie film we've ever received in HorrorPack, for sure. It's so good.
And with this movie, I believe, if you're not a HorrorPack subscriber, the only other place you could find this movie, I believe, would be on Amazon, on the Amazon streaming, Prime Video, pretty much. But yeah, this movie is definitely one of our favorites that we've ever gotten in a HorrorPack. So yeah, thank you HorrorPack for this.
It's awesome. And kudos to the people that made it, because you guys did an amazing job for what you had. Like, and that's awesome.
We're hoping to see a sequel to this. Like this.
It's like almost like a modern day, like, horror version of Jumanji. Like, you play it and you have to keep playing it, or there's like consequences. It's pretty cool.
Another cool thing to note about this movie is the Unreal Engine that like 2K uses to like make like games like Borderlands and other stuff like that. They were actually involved with this movie as well. Like some of the game sequences,
graphics.
the game graphics, the game design was designed by them. So that's also another cool thing to point
that
out.
was actually worked on by like a legit game company, so it's really good. I think I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. 'Cause it's not quite a 9, but it's not quite an 8.
But yeah, this movie, definitely check this one out if you haven't already.
It's really good. But yeah, so those are our 3 horror movies from July Horror Pack, and our thoughts on them, spoiler free. So
So, if you guys have seen any of these movies, if you guys subscribe to HorrorPack, let us know below in the comments your thoughts.
and then like this video before you leave, and hit that subscribe button and the bell for more videos. And thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Alright.
Bye.
Like this.